213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145 and in Germany 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106 at live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but, oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 24th day of the 6th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 24th day of the first month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season in this Disaster Risk Reduction Month, Road Safety Awareness Month, Brides Month, and Pride Month. In the United States, it's National Immigrant Heritage Month, National Caribbean American Heritage Month, and Caribbean Cuisine Month. Still in the US, June is being observed as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, Cataract Awareness Month, Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month, Aphasia Awareness Month, Congenital Cytomegalovirus Awareness Month, Headache, Migraine and Headache Awareness Month as well, National Safety Month, Scleroderma Awareness Month, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, PTSD Awareness Month, Scoliosis Awareness Month, and Men's Health Month. We're almost at the end of Caribbean American Legislative Week, Helen Keller Deaf Blind Awareness Week, and Productivity Awareness Week here in Jamaica. The Battle of Carabobo is being remembered in Venezuela. It's Constitution Day in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where they're also observing Fisherman's Day. It's Countryman's Day in Peru, even as they celebrate Inti Raymi. It's Discovery Day or Cabot 500 Day in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. In Quebec, they call it Fête Nationale. It's Manila Day in the Philippines. And St. John's Day is being celebrated all over the world, from Latvia to Estonia, from Haiti to Peru, Macau, Sweden, and Andorra, Aruba, Italy, and Portugal, from Puerto Rico to Spain, Serbia, and Brazil. Hoy es jueves, el 24 de 2021, y les saludamos en este momento. Estamos muy vida y el privilegio de servirles en otro. Both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
The future is electric vehicles, and the future is already here.
We are Evergo, the largest and most sophisticated network of charging stations.
We have created a network to get you where you want, safely and reliably, moving Jamaica towards a sustainable future.
Go wherever you want, and Evergo will be very close, filling you with the desire to continue discovering your destination. Find out more at evergonet.com or evergo_Jamaica on Instagram.
Connected forward.
Hey, you see, these days, it's good to get straight to the point. Quick and easy. That's why Western Union gives you another way to receive money straight to your bank account with Western Union's direct-to-bank money transfer. Visit a Western Union agent location and sign up now. And tell your family and friends to send your next Western Union money transfer directly to your bank account in Jamaica. It's easy. Visit a Western Union location or call our call center at 876-926-2454. Sign up today to receive a money transfer directly to your bank account with ease. With Western Union, moving money for better.
C'est jeudi le 24 juin 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Thursday, the 24th of June, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. We started out this afternoon with the poetry of the great Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask. We wear the mask. And we paired that with the unmistakable sound of what is often described as Beethoven's symphony, but more accurately, you've been treated to a piece that is a masterpiece in terms of where it stands, how high an esteem in which it is held when all the works of Beethoven are assessed, and there are many outstanding works. But this one in particular, more accurately, this is Symphony number 5 in C minor, Opus 67. That's Symphony number 5 in C minor, Opus 67, Allegro con brio. Allegro con brio. So it's supposed to be lively. Allegro con brio. It's a lot of energy and fast and lively and quite eclectic. Right. So that's the combination. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you have found other means of listening to Power 106 FM, even as we encourage you to check out the established platforms, the app, which can be downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. And as we like to say, listening is free, downloading is free. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook in the search box atop the page. Type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to watch both sides of the story. If you're not on Facebook, there's always YouTube, and you don't have to have an account in order to watch on YouTube. Just go to the YouTube website. If you do that now, you should see this video trending. If not, then in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you should see it. You should see this video. on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? The lines are open, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, and you can call us on WhatsApp as well. So many options open to you. Feel free to take full advantage of them. There's just so much happening, whether COVID-19 related or otherwise, or on the sporting calendar. Very, very busy sporting calendar. So a story that Ali Dai has congratulated Cristiano Ronaldo after the Portugal captain equaled his all-time international goal record in men's football at Euro 2020. Ronaldo took his tally to 109 goals in 178 senior caps by scoring twice from the penalty spot in Portugal's 2-2 draw with France in Budapest Wednesday night local time. And that ensured that Portugal have qualified from Group F as one of the 4 best third-placed teams at the tournament. More power to the 36-year-old Ronaldo. Seems like he's been playing forever, as young as he is. But in footballing years, I guess he's aging. Right, so that's happening there. And there are a couple of other items we wanted to just quickly share, just in case you are one of those who love to catch up on the latest news. You didn't get a chance to, you haven't been able to follow all day today because you've been busy taking care of business, whatever business that is, and you're finding a few moments now to listen. So let's bring you up to speed quickly. Jamaica has recorded, sadly, 7 more COVID-19 deaths, pushing the tally to 1,049. Those who have died: an 80-year-old male from St. Catherine, whose death was under investigation, a 50-year-old woman from Clarendon, a 21-year-old woman from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 62-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew, and a 71-year-old male also from the corporate area, Kingston and St. Andrew. All those deaths were previously under investigation, plus another 2, an 89-year-old woman from the corporate area, and a 74-year-old male from Westmoreland. We've been getting some rains, and normally around this time we'd be hearing about drought, and well, maybe that time is to come, but Jamaica is not the only place that suffers in that regard. We're told that drought indicators in western U.S. flash warnings of the big one. Summer in the U.S. begins with widespread drought already at historic levels across 11 states. Experts warn of worsening conditions once wildfires start. And the story goes on. So California is one of those places that normally experiences drought. So we have to be mindful of that. Let's continue to be as judicious as possible in our use of water. Let's pretend as if there is no water. Even though we have it, you get the picture. Pretend as if there is none and we just have a little. Or we just have a little that we have to make the most of. If we take that approach, then we perhaps would be a little more sensitive to the importance and the need to conserve and not take for granted whatever little water we're getting right now. Because we don't know for how long that will last. Parental neglect, faulty procedures in education system push children to street life. That's a story published by The Gleaner. The Star has been named the official JPL print partner. That's the Jamaica Premier League. So the Star is the official print partner for the Premier League. Is that going to start anytime soon? Well, let's see. Bail extended for Patrick Roberts to return to court in September. Well-known producer, businessman, and counselor Patrick Roberts, who has been slapped with fraud charges, was today ordered to reappear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on September 28. Roberts and his co-accused, 28-year-old laborer Ramon Edwards, both had their bail extended when they appeared in court this morning. Roberts was charged in May with forgery, uttering forged documents, and conspiracy to defraud after he was questioned by police investigators, while Edwards is facing a conspiracy to defraud charge. COVAX trims forecast to supply COVID-19 vaccine. A public health group that manages the UN-backed program to ship COVID-19 vaccines to poor countries is paring back its supply forecast for this year by more than 100 million doses, largely because a key Indian manufacturer has focused on needs at home. And there's so much going on in that area of vaccination. We'll perhaps pick that up after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the Parish Health Department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
We all want a relationship that's long-lasting, built on a firm foundation with unwavering commitment. Bulwark Insurance Agency is a bastion for excellent service. With the strong support of our warm and friendly staff, we nurture lasting relationships, exceeding your expectations, creating wealth, and securing your future. Bulwark Insurance Agency. Insurance made easy.
Hose Assembly and Supply HAS is the best at what they do. They supply hoses, fittings, and tools. They guarantee they are unbeatable in price and quality combined. Branded by you as the hose and tool boss with the most effective industrial solutions. Come, experience the joy of shopping with the Hose Boss. Call 876-923-3936 or visit them at 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. HAS would like to thank their customers for over 30 years.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the Parish Health Department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. The National Works Agency says several corridors in the parish of Clarendon are now benefiting from a hot mix patching program. The works being undertaken under 2 separate contracts started in April and are expected to be completed by the end of July this year. The combined cost of the works is just under $23.5 million. The agency says as part of the program, 13 roadways are being targeted with about 50% of the work completed thus far. Those roadways benefiting from the works include Freetown to Four Paths, Danks to Mears Bridge, Freetown to Alley via Lionel Town, Chesterfield to Rocky Point, Alley to Rest, and the Chapelton bypass. About 4,000 square meters of patching is being carried out on these road sections. The second phase of hot mix patching works, which began this month, is expected to be completed within the next 4 weeks. The more than 4,700 square meters of patching will be done along the main roads from Trout Hall to Grantham, Mucko to Frankfield, Cupius to Kernel Ridge, St. John's to Pedro River, Cupius to Mount Hindmost, Mears Bridge to Greenock Bridge, and Parnassus to Mucko. Motorists and pedestrians are being advised to obey all posted warning and directional signs, as well as the instructions of flag persons while the patching works are in progress. Also trending in, as far as the Gleaner is concerned, the story of the call by some countries at the UN for the United States to end the embargo against Cuba, which is running for, I think, is it 29 years now, I believe. Is it 29? No, it's actually more than that. But this call for the US to end the Cuba embargo has now taken place for the 29th time. I beg your pardon. So it's the 29th consecutive year that the UN General Assembly has called for the US to end the embargo on Cuba. And if nothing has happened over the last 29 years, then it would be reasonable to deduce from that trend that things that they will have, and next year will mark the 30th year of this same demand. The United Nations said a total of 184 countries in its General Assembly today voted in favor of a resolution to demand the end of the United States economic blockade on Cuba for the 29th year in a row. The US and Israel have voted against the resolution. So that's 2 against, 184 for. You would think that the majority would hold sway, but apparently not. So that situation continues, and from all indications, it will continue for some time to come. Let's see how that goes going forward. In the meantime, we have a couple more stories. The national championships are on at the National Stadium. We were hearing some talk yesterday about 5,000 spectators being allowed to watch from the stands. But then it seems that that plan has been abandoned. Not sure how they arrived at that in the first place, but that's one of the other stories doing the rounds. And there is also, since we mentioned the national trials, Dexter Lee is among the qualifiers for the 100-meter event at the national trials. He's the former two-time world under-20 100-meter champion and World Championships relay gold medalist, among the 7 qualifiers for tomorrow morning's qualifying round of the men's 100-meter event at the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, J3A's National Senior Trials at the National Stadium. The other qualifiers, let's tell you: Javoy Tucker of MVP Track Club, Ashani Smith of Racers, Kimarley Stewart of Cameron Blazers, Mazino Barrett of Uemona, former Meadowbrook High School runner Shakur Williams, Michael Sharp of GC Foster College, and there are some others. I'm not sure if I got to 7 yet, but those are the qualifiers. Holder toppled from top spot. Roach closes in on top 10. So Jason Holder has been dislodged from the top of the all-rounders charts, but both Jermaine Blackwood and Kamar Roach have enjoyed upward movement in the latest International Cricket Council ICC Test Player rankings. The 5-match T20 series between the West Indies and South Africa will bowl off on Saturday, I believe. Yes, Saturday. News out of Barbados: 30,000 doses of China's Sinopharm vaccine expected to arrive in Barbados tomorrow. That's the word from Barbados's Health Minister, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostick. And we're supposed to be getting some more vaccines this week as well, or if those are not already here. We're supposed to be getting 35,000 from Mexico, a gift from Mexico, 35,000 doses, and 3,000 from, is it Paho? I think so. I think I heard that. And plus some expectations of other vaccines down the line. So these are just some of the stories. We still have a few minutes before the break, but just some of the stories trending. Loop News is reporting soldiers suspect shot in Homestead clash. A suspected gunman was shot and injured and a firearm recovered in Homestead St. Catherine today. 2 soldiers were also injured during the exchange with the armed man. Reports are that at 6 o'clock this morning, members of a joint police military team went to the Mansfield Avenue section of the parish. And while there, they were approached by a man in the area who reportedly opened fire at the team. Police sources said a shootout ensued and the man was shot and injured and the firearm recovered. 2 JDF soldiers were also injured during the exchange. Sources report that one of the soldiers was shot in the abdomen and the other in the left leg. The soldiers are reportedly in stable condition. Police are yet to release further details about the condition of the suspected gunman. Sandals Beaches join forces with NEAT to help families down south is another story. In news coming out of New York, an appeals court suspended Rudy Giuliani from practicing law in New York because he made false statements while trying to get courts to overturn Donald Trump's loss in the presidential race. There's another one here. Out of our courts now, taxpayers have foot an overall bill to the tune of nearly $66 million for the legal defense of the Uchen's, Wilson, and King Valley gangsters. Once again, taxpayers have foot an overall bill to the tune of nearly $66 million for the legal defense of the Uchen's, Wilson, and King Valley gangsters. A total of 42 legal aid and independent attorneys took part in the 2 high-profile trials that lasted a combined 25 months. This information was disclosed by the Justice Minister Delroy Chuck as he piloted the Legal Aid Fees Validation and Indemnification Act of 2021 in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. So it is, every single citizen has the right to representation under the law right here in Jamaica, and the law serves both sides, both those on the defense and the others on the prosecution side. So it is. So it is. There have been other reports of M16 rounds and guns seized by the security forces in joint operations at different points across the country. And it's a lot. We won't bother going to the information, but it's just a lot. Lot of rounds of ammunition, 100 rounds of ammunition for M16 assault rifles, 41 5.56 M16 cartridge, 9mm cartridges, and different areas, Markland Avenue, Grand Spen, Lilliput in St. James, and the list goes on. Even in Norwood on Tuesday, I think that one was reported prior, and there are other reports. Well, the police have to do what they have to do. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com Good afternoon to Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Thank you very much for joining us. All the best. Hello to Junior Jabari, Golden Brown. Good afternoon. Faye Weller. Good afternoon to you too. Angela Forrest says we had no rain in Claremont. Had or have? Is it that you're talking of some time ago, or is it right now? Please tell us, Angela. Jennifer Stewart, Kencott, Q Road. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in, as usual. And all the very best to you. And let's see who else is. Oh, we do have a few messages that we have to clear from yesterday. Let's see if we can clear those now. Well, someone was reminding me that it's Salem and Granville, those two communities, first exposed to the zone of special operation. Wayne was also sending us a reminder. Michael in St. Anne's Bay says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. From June 8, we are having extreme difficulty hearing the broadcast from your station. Presently, it's like Duns River Falls flowing in the background. Michael in St. Anne's Bay. Sorry to hear of that situation, Michael in St. Anne's Bay. Sorry to hear. But we trust that, we really hope that the matter will be resolved in short order, because we have had enough of these problems, quite frankly. It's just a waste of oxygen to keep going over it. Tony Kelly says, hello, Dervan. Hope all is well. Hope you have been spreading the word about the diabetes awareness event this Saturday, which I sent to you on the 11th of June. That would be appreciated. We'll retrieve it and do our best to oblige, Tony. Patriotic Jamaican in New York says, Mr. Malcolm, of course you are correct in saying those who make decisions must be prepared to deal with the consequences. Unfortunately, when those in authority in Jamaica make these decisions, they are unlikely to be the ones to deal with the negative consequences. No, but they will have to. Remember, we have a thing in Jamaica called elections, and there are other channels as well. But anyway, the consequences of the decision to prematurely open up the entertainment sector and possible precipitating a COVID super spread will be borne by the Jamaican people, who had nothing to do with this thoughtless decision, says Patriotic Jamaican in New York. Errol in Spanish Town says, hi, Dervan, good day. I think the government should go mobile to deliver the jobs. People who want to take it, visit every community they can. It will help speed up the vaccination program. What do you think? Well, they do have a couple of mobile units now, and as far as I'm aware, I don't know the frequency with which they go into these communities, but they have been going into communities. Thank you for your message. And let's go to this one. Tamara says, this sad that the health system don't highlight rheumatic heart disease, heart fever. It's a chronic and debilitating illness. Love for you to interview Minister of Health on this matter, please. Went through hell, my brother has it, plus other family members. Speak with someone at the Ministry of Health. And she said, I asked valid questions and she will bring the concern to the family health unit. Love for you to press it, please. Debilitating illness. Right, we'll see what we can do in following up on this, Tamara. We wish your brother well. Curtis says, "Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm, and everyone everywhere. God loves you all. It's raining down here in Claremont. Stay dry in Claremont." Curtis, thank you very much for your message on WhatsApp. Our text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. This message says, "Good day, Dervan. All travelers to Jamaica are required to apply for authorization to enter Jamaica. The airline need to see the authorization before you are allowed to check in. It takes less than 5 minutes to get it. Why are we as a people so unreasonable and unwilling to comply with rules? We blame government, we cry foul when we want to set the agenda. We need to follow the rules, all of us." Thank you for your message. And there's another bit of message here from the same source. "All the money the gangsters stole, why was it not used for legal defense? Why do taxpayers have to pick up the tab?" And that's in reference to a story we shared a short while ago. There's also the Proceeds of Crime Act, which allows the state to seize the assets of such individuals. So there is that as well. Thank you for your message nonetheless. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on our smart devices and your smart devices all over the world. We're behind the scenes just still trying to connect with a guest we're scheduled to speak with. We'll keep trying and see how that unfolds. And in the meantime, we keep it going here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-411225, 876-922-411225. Email both sides 106 at live.com, both sides 106 at live.com. And we're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, etc., etc., etc. Sad story coming out of Florida. If you missed it, Miami, Florida, it would have made the news, that of a Miami building collapsing. And at this stage, 99 people unaccounted for. At least one person has died and dozens are unaccounted for after the collapse overnight of a 12-story residential building north of Miami, Florida. The number of those not yet located has risen from 51 to 99, according to Miami-Dade police, with 53 now unaccounted for. It is unclear how many people were in the building at the time. Now, we're always saddened by these occurrences, wherever they happen in the world. We know Miami, Florida is Kingston 21 for us here in Jamaica, and it wouldn't be inconceivable to find a Jamaican or, God forbid, a couple of Jamaicans, one way or another, being uh, one of those impacted by that collapsed Miami building. We convey our condolences to those who have perished, and we will keep in our thoughts and prayers though the families of those yet to be accounted for. And here's another story, this one out of Canada. We heard a similar story not so long ago. 751 unmarked graves found at residential school. An indigenous nation in Canada says it has found 751 unmarked graves at the site of a former residential school in Saskatchewan. The Cowessess First Nation said the discovery was the most significantly substantial to date in Canada. It comes weeks after the remains of 215 children were found at a similar residential school in British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada, or Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is not a mass grave site. These are unmarked graves, said Cowessess chief Cadmus Delorme. This clearly has to be investigated, and it's really sad, really quite sad. Also making the news, the Dutch, who is this now? Dutch PM Rutte, no place in EU for Hungary with anti-LGBT law. Hungary has no business being in the European Union anymore, according to Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, in a fresh rebuke to Prime Minister Viktor Orban over new anti-LGBT legislation. Arriving for an EU leaders summit, Mr. Orban insisted his country's law had nothing to do with gay rights.
The Time by Medical Disposables and Supplies Limited, an official distributor of 3M Healthcare Solutions, 83 Hagley Park Road, Kingston 10, is 3 p.m.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Dip into fun and flavor with any pack of Oreo. Send 5 wrappers with expiration date no earlier than May 17 for a chance to win a weekend for a family of 4 and all-inclusive, $150,000 cash, or a 40-inch smart TV. 3 ways to enter. Upload information to the Oreo link. More fun, more flavor with Oreo.com/promotion. Or mail wrappers to More Fun, More Flavor with Oreo promotion, P.O. Box 2000 CSO, or dropping boxes in participating stores with wrappers and contact information from May 17 to July 9. Enjoy the flavor and get ready for the grand draw July 23. Let's win with Oreo. Authorized under Section 58 of the Commercial Gaming and Workers Act.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here's a voice note that we're going to play right now.
Hi, Dervan. Good evening. I'm concerned about the passport system. I'm living near Maypen, and when you go there, they send you online to make the date. When you call them, then you get a answer. When you do get a answer, they tell you that next week I'll call you to give you a date. And we call again, and that's the same thing. And up till now, for 2 months now, we've been calling, trying to get a date to get our passport, and we cannot get it. Please, if you could really find out what is really going on with this passport system, because it is not working out for the customers. And on account of the rheumatic heart disease, it is quite something we should really talk about. I lost my daughter with it, and they helped me to see that it's a sore throat, that the water left the sore throat and go down and scratch the heart and give her rheumatic heart disease. I think this is a disease that we should really pay attention to and help people to know that high fever and sore throat is very dangerous and should be taken care of immediately. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. We have a couple of subject matters we need to feature on this program, further to that voice note we just played. We'll do our best in a reasonable time to get those discussions going. Thank you very much for bringing those matters to our attention. All the very best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. If you're wondering about the weather, the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica anticipates showers and isolated thunderstorms across sections of most parishes this afternoon. There's a trough across the island, we're told, and that's expected to remain over the island for the next few days. There is a bit of information here coming in as well. US to add heart inflammation warning for COVID mRNA vaccines for teens. And just so we get it, US health authorities plan to update official guidance about administering mRNA COVID vaccines to adolescents and young adults after finding a likely link to rare cases of heart inflammation. But they say the overall benefits still clearly outweigh the risks. That's world. Another bit of information. The heads of the global health, IP, and trade agencies today announced a joint platform to help countries plug the gaps in accessing COVID-19 vaccines, treatments, and technologies. The leaders of the World Health Organization, WHO, the World Intellectual Property Office, WIPO, and the World Trade Organization, WTO, say countries will be able to access expertise in places where the three fields cross over in battling the pandemic. The WHO chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, WIPO head, Darren Tang, and WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala met on June 15 when they agreed to work together more closely to support access to medical technologies to tackle the coronavirus crisis. All right, let's take a break from the coronavirus matters right now and share with you some other information here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And we're all over social media, as you're aware, Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, all the platforms you can think of. And therefore, you have many options to use, many channels to take advantage of, to keep in touch with us. Here's some history for you. On this day in 1314, Scottish forces led by Robert the Bruce won over Edward II of England at the Battle of Bannockburn in Scotland. The Italian explorer John Cabot, sailing in the service of England, landed in North America on what is now Newfoundland, Canada, on this day in 1497. In 1503, while Christopher Columbus was trying to establish a settlement on the Central American mainland, he experienced severe difficulties. He was forced to abandon 2 boats and crammed his 116 men into the remaining vessels, the Capitania and the Santiago de Palos, and headed for the tip of Cuba. When he arrived, he ran into a storm, and with the boats leaking heavily, he headed instead for Rio Bueno on Jamaica's north coast. As on his first trip to Jamaica in 1494, Columbus was fooled by the large and spacious Discovery Bay, which he called Puerto Seco, dry harbor. Technically speaking, Puerto Seco, dry harbor, because while it could hold a 16th century navy, it had no water. In desperation, Columbus headed for his original arrival spot, Santa Gloria, near the Indian village of Maima, where the great St. Anne River enters the sea. It was there he arrived at St. Anne's Bay on this day in 1503. Columbus would remain in Jamaica for 369 days, the longest time spent in any one place. See, and this was 1503. And even before that, you could go back to 1494. From as far back as, and you could maybe even go beyond that. The point is, there is something about this place called Jamaica. For Columbus to have spent, whatever we think about Columbus and whatever the debates about Columbus, the evidence is that what happened, right? We can't change that now. But just to make the point, for him to, for Columbus to have stayed in Jamaica for 369 days, the longest time spent in any one place, Just something about this place. Perhaps he didn't want to leave. 1509, Henry VIII was crowned King of England. 1658, Colonel Edward D'Oyly. Colonel, and one of the features of the English language, the pronunciation of a word from time to time doesn't necessarily match the spelling. Colonel. On the face of it, you would perhaps say colonel, but it's not colonel, it's colonel. So colonel is spelled Colonel. Colonel, spelled Colonel, but pronounced colonel. And in Jamaica, we don't say lieutenant, we say lieutenant. So even if you're reading a document and you see the spelling, you see the word lieutenant, and you're reading it, so you're not supposed to say lieutenant. If you're in Jamaica, you're supposed to say lieutenant. If you're in America, you can say lieutenant, but in Jamaica, I think it's a function of we got that from the British. Anyway, Colonel, on this day in 1658, Colonel Edward D'Oyly, who was in charge of the new English troops in Jamaica, attacked a fort at Rio Nuevo in St. Mary, which had been built by Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy, the leader of the Spaniards who remained after the invasion of Jamaica by the British 3 years earlier. So he didn't want to give up Jamaica. The last Spanish governor of Jamaica, he was prepared to fight, and he was fighting to keep out the English from Jamaica. And that fight went on for quite a while, so much so that, well, let's take the break and come back.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Let's finish the story. We were saying in 1658, on this day in 1658, Colonel Edward D'Oyly, who was in charge of the new English troops in Jamaica, attacked a fort at Rio Nuevo in St. Mary, which had been built by Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy. Don, D-O-N, Cristobal, C-R-I-S-T-O-B-A-L, Arnaldo, A-R-N-A-L-D-O, D, or D, D-E, Yisassi, Y-S-A-S-S-I. Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy built a fort in Rio Nuevo, St. Mary. He was the leader of the Spaniards who remained in Jamaica after the invasion of Jamaica by the British 3 years earlier in 1655. The Spaniards were routed, 1/3 killed, another third made prisoners, while the remainder fled. And that same site, a few years ago, would have to go back to That would have been maybe 11 or 12 years ago. The Jamaica National Heritage Trust, in association with the Rio Nuevo Battle Site Citizens Association, opened a museum in the area. So here's what happened. Under authority of Don Cristobal Arnaldo di Sassi, a new fort, F-O-R-T, was built at Rio Nuevo. But when the English commander, Edward Doyley, was informed about this renewed settlement of the Spanish, he immediately went to Rio Nuevo. There, he offered Don Cristobal Arnaldo di Sassi a ceasefire and a safe passage to Cuba. Sassi refused, and one of the most important battles in Jamaican history took place. The Spanish resistance was eventually broken, and they officially ceded Jamaica to the English in 1670 under the Treaty of Madrid. Edward Doyley became the first English governor of Jamaica. So the first English governor of Jamaica, Edward Doyley. The last Spanish governor of Jamaica, Don Cristobal Arnaldo di Sassi. The colony of New Jersey, named after the Isle of Jersey, founded on this day in 1664. In 1680, William Penn, P-E-N-N, the Younger, William Penn the Younger, petitioned Charles II for repayment of his debt to Admiral Sir William Penn, his father. The Crown had become indebted to the Admiral to the tune of £16,000. The debt was settled with a charter. 3 years later, on this day, 3 years later, on the 23rd of June, 1623, William Penn signed a friendship treaty with the Lenni Lenape Indians in Pennsylvania. And since we mentioned Pennsylvania, a word on Pennsylvania. Sylvania, S-I-L-V-A-N-I-A, is the Latin for woodland, from Silvanus, S-I-L-V-A-N-U-S. Silvanus in Roman mythology was the god of woodlands, fields, and flocks. So Pennsylvania means Penn's woodland. Penn's woodland. That's essentially what Pennsylvania means. The name does not honor the Quaker William Penn, as is generally believed, but his father, Admiral Sir William Penn. That's the same Admiral Sir William Penn who, along with General Robert Venables, took Jamaica from the Spaniards in 1655. But back to Pennsylvania. Sylvania, Sir William Penn, we don't need to go back over that again, do we? No. Let's see. Let's move on. Admiral Penn, the naval hero who helped frame the first code of tactics for the British Navy, had been imprisoned in the Tower in 1655 for political reasons. The Crown, however, had become indebted to the Admiral, Penn having loaned Charles II £16,000. And so on this day in 1680, the younger Penn petitioned Charles for repayment of his debt with a charter. Penn's account tells us that he suggested the names Sylvania and New Wales. When Charles II added the Penn in honor of his father, he strongly objected, since Quakers are opposed to such use of personal names. Young William Penn's objection was not strong enough to prevent the naming of the land Pennsylvania in honor of his father, Admiral Sir William Penn. And the last bit of history we'll give you for now, before we take your calls. 1692, presided over by its president, John White, the council, a body which advises the governor, met on board a ship in the harbor and passed a resolution to purchase 200 acres of land known as Hog Crawl, owned by Colonel William Beeston, for £1,000. Hog Crawl is being occupied, or at the time was being occupied, by panic-stricken residents of Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 17 days before on the 7th of June. The resolution, which was passed, read as follows: there to be laid out 200 acres of Colonel William Beeston's land in the parish of St. Andrew, where the president and the rest of the gents or their majesty's council have appointed for the building of a new town, and town back then was spelt with an E, Towne, Hog Crawl, across the harbor from Port Royal. The council also gave Nicholas Laws the task of laying out the streets of the new town. On July 21, 1692, the Island Assembly created the town of Kingston on lands purchased from Colonel William Beeston on a plan drawn up by John Gough. On October 16, 1692, dispossessed Port Royal residents met at the home of Mrs. Anne Lauder in Kingston to draw lots which determine allotments in the new town. In 1693, Kingston was declared a parish with Colonel Peter Beckford as the first custos and Edward Yeamans the first town clerk of the vestry. Kingston became a city in 1802, and in 1872, Kingston became the capital of Jamaica. A lot of history there. Here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Scott here.
Hello.
Dervan Salman, Scott here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Scott.
Good afternoon. I have been listening to you with much pleasure. And on the question of the Sassi, the last Spanish governor who was here and ran away from the Green Grotto Caves where he hid to Cuba, that's how the area has become known as Runaway Caves. It is not because it's any of the other caves in Jamaica were not used as runaway caves, but is the significance of who was running away from the Green Grotto Caves, which was the last Spanish governor. That particular place was called the Runaway Caves. In contrast to all the other caves, of whole multitude of caves right across the country.
Yes.
And so it's important to mention, especially for our young people, that how and why the Runaway Caves, the Green Grotto Caves, are called the Runaway Caves.
Yes. Thank you for adding to the body of work.
All right. Very good.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Shalman Scott, historian, former mayor of the Friendly City, businessman, lecturer, etc., etc., etc. Right. We're coming up on another break in just a couple of minutes. We have a special guest standing by to join us as we celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship. And good afternoon to Alfonso Grenell. We'll talk about Alfonso Grenell's event not too long from now. But quickly, let's clear some messages. Hello to Beverline in Toronto, Canada. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. Velta Wilson says, good evening, Sir Malcolm and fellow listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Wilson is listening in St. Thomas Eastern. Good to have you on board. Beverline in Toronto, Canada says, Pink Panther music sounds great while working 1 more hour to finish. All right. Audrey Smith in Southampton in England says, good afternoon, and listeners. Looking forward to another class today. Enjoy listening to various topics each time. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Audrey Smith. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. We're having rain today in Tar Isle, St. Mary. Stay dry in wet Tar Isle, St. Mary. Similar conditions here in the corporate area. It's amazing. Well, you never get, well, how do we put it? It's always fascinating to see how much water is collected on our roadways. How much of that water actually sits there before it actually runs off, if it even runs off. And it's one of the reasons why we have, well, we would like to think that the engineers would have done their homework in that regard, where you would don your raincoat and safely, doing all of this safely, don your raincoat and whatever device, whatever waterproof device that you have that can collect data, that you use that waterproof device to check the road, the sections of roadways where water is obviously settling, or water tends to settle whenever it rains, to see if it is possible to create some kind of a camber that would allow the water to run off, as opposed to sitting on the surface of the roadway and eating away at that surface, which is why invariably after periods of rain, especially sustained rainfall, but even brief showers can cause our roadways, potholes to open up on our roadways. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:30. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to Sophia Nemard, who is also online watching. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. We're also live on YouTube, live on your smart devices via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. Welcome on YouTube. Taki Lemqua says, bless up on the downside of the afternoon to you, Dervan, and all on board, all over. Respect. Respect to you too, Taki Lemqua. Wind Charmful says, Pink Panther music sounds great, but if you walk like him, you won't get any work done for the remaining hour. And that's Wind Charmful responding to who was that? That was Beverline in Toronto, Canada. Thank you very much. We love to say in whatever we do, we stand on 4 legs: to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. It is time for us to encourage entrepreneurship right now. And let's tell you about an entrepreneur, makeup artist, and marketer who apparently had no desires or interests in either career paths growing up. Throughout her school life at Woolmer's pre-prep, Woolmer's pre, Woolmer's pre-prep and Woolmer's prep. Hold on. Woolmer's pre-prep, Woolmer's prep, and Woolmer's high school. Right. So keeping it in the Woolmer's family. Her goal was to be a corporate girl in finance, so to speak. It was not until university and her exposure to a youth marketing agency that she realized she wanted to do more and create a path of being the corporate girl of her own company, which later turned into companies. In 2017, she followed her mom's footsteps as a makeup artist and launched her first company, Gabby Glam Company. And that's Gabby, Gabby Glam, GLAM Company, or CO for short. So in 2017, she followed her mom's footsteps as a makeup artist and launched her first company, Gabby Glam Company. Her love for all things glam progressed, which led to her launch of Glam Con and Carnival Glam Hub in 2018. Carnival Glam Hub expanded immensely, launching in Barbados in 2019 and Trinidad in February 2020. There were further plans to continue the expansion in other territories of that year, but the big bad pandemic hit, causing a massive blow to the company. Despite the setback, Gabby pivoted and focused on expanding her first brainchild, Gabby Glam Company, by creating her very own cosmetic line of vegan and cruelty-free lip glosses. I like that. Cruelty-free lip glosses. She's going to have to explain all of that. With Selah being her Selah, Sela, could be Selah as well, she'll tell us, being her very first lip collection, which was launched in January of this year. Inspired by life's journey and walking by faith, there is no stopping what she will do next as she continues to create the path of building a glampire. I like that word, glampire. It's a cross between glamour and empire, glampire, and being the corporate girl of her own company. Listeners at home and abroad, please welcome Ms. Gabrielle Waite. Good afternoon to you, Gabrielle.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. How are you?
I am not too bad myself. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on board. Now, certainly for you to have evolved as a glam queen, so to speak, in terms of providing makeup and I think lipstick as well, but lip glosses, I beg your pardon. So you would have at some point in your childhood would have
been exposed.
Yes, and would have maybe fiddled and maybe messed up your face a few times and so on.
Of course, definitely.
Well, give us a synopsis of that period of your socialization that has now obviously had a lasting impact on your life to the point now where you're in the glam business.
Right, okay, no problem. So, as you had basically mentioned is, well, my mom was a makeup artist. So growing up, I would actually go with her on her jobs and assist her. And I also distinctly remember when she was actually going to makeup classes, she would also bring me along and I would just have to sit and watch. Sometimes, she'd have a model and I would be there. And anytime she'd have jobs, I'd always just be assisting her on those jobs. So that was really how I got exposed to it. And from that, I was just always amazed and interested by it. And I also did dancing at Wilma's. So I danced with Wilma's dance troupe. And by doing dancing, obviously, when you have performances, you're required to wear makeup. So anytime I would see her doing the jobs, I would actually practice whenever I have to wear makeup when I have my performances, and I'll be doing my friends' makeup as well. So that's kind of how I started dabbling into it, and I just fell in love with it just off the bat, just by by watching her and doing it myself. Because my mom is really, I call her a glam mom. She's really who I got it from.
Yes.
She's who I got it from. So it's really just started off by me watching her and assisting her with her jobs, and then just practicing it on myself and on my friends whenever we would have dance performances and we'd need to wear makeup. And it's so funny because when I just started getting into makeup and doing it professionally, I actually started off with her clients and her kids.
Oh.
So yeah, I started off with her clients and her kids, and I'd practice on my friends. And because she was a professional makeup artist, I never ever wanted to practice on her. It wasn't until Mother's Day that just passed. That was the first time I've ever done my mom's makeup ever.
Did you tape it?
I did not tape it, but I took pictures. I took pictures and I posted it. And when she said, "Oh my gosh, Gabby, I love it," I was so surprised. I was just like, "Yes, if she's good, if she loved it, I mean, I did good." Yes, because I felt a little intimidated because she's a professional makeup artist. I got it from her. She's the person who inspired me to get into this
Makeup artistry.
Get into makeup artistry. So when I did her makeup, I was very nervous about it. But when she told me that she loved it, I was very happy as well, and it was very fulfilling.
Because obviously she would have been the most important client ever.
Oh, definitely. And trust me, even when I would start, she would always critique me and give me advice in terms of what I should do, how I should do this person versus this person. She'd give me all of the tips that she had learned because she was really the one who taught me.
Excellent. But when I think of makeup, though, I'm thinking you to put it together to create the products. You would need to have know something about chemistry and all these things. Is it that you've been able to do some experiments on your own, learn some of it on your own? Is it some of it prepackaged and then you add value to it? Give us a sense of how you got that part of the business of making the products.
Okay, so I do not physically make them myself. It is outsourced, so I do have a manufacturing company in China that is making them for me. But however, I do have some insights, and I do request what I would like, the type of ingredients I would like to be in my.
But hold on, stick up in there, because that is a big deal for you to be in business with a manufacturer in China. That in and of itself is a big deal. How did that come about?
So it was really just, so I do have an aunt who has a wholesale, and she has her agents, and I did share with her that I really want to go into creating my own cosmetic line, and the cosmetic line, it didn't really get into the full swing until COVID had happened. So as much as I had all of I started meeting different vendors to see who I'd really like to make my glosses for me. So it was like a lot of trial and error that I had to go through in terms of contacting different vendors in China and then testing out their products to see if it's a company that I would actually like to partner with. But then because my aunt has connections in China, I was able to communicate with her vendor to help me to source a great manufacturer to work with. So that was really how that came along, just because of COVID, I couldn't actually go to China myself. So it was a lot of in between that was going along, which made the process so much longer, so much more tedious, because you have the language barrier, then you have the distance, the time frame. You also have the fact that it's literally just trial and error every time, and you're going and going until you find the right vendor you want to work with, and a vendor that you feel like you can trust, because they don't know you don't know them. They could simply just take all your money and not create the products for you. They could do it in a completely different way that you've requested. So a lot of investigation had to be put into finding out and researching the best manufacturer that I would like to use that I believe would represent my brand the way how I would want it to be.
What role family seems to be very important in the mix based on what you have said so far.
Extremely.
So, yeah, because I'm thinking now, how did you get that first money, that what is called seed capital to get the business off the ground? How did that go?
In terms of the cosmetic line specifically, or when I started makeup?
Well,
when I started doing makeup.
Yeah, you could give us the three. They when you started doing makeup, cosmetic, and the gloss.
Okay, so when I started going into makeup artistry, remember I said that I basically started off with my mom's kit. So she already had makeup products that I could have used when I was going out to clients.
That makes sense. Yes.
I had a head start with that.
Yeah.
In that regard. So I had a head start in that regard. So once, the money started to come in, then I'll put a portion of that money in terms of purchasing other products that I would like to add to the kit, or to restock the kit. So that was how I got started in that regard, with an assistance from my mom and her using her makeup kit.
Yes.
In terms of when I started GlamCon and Carnival Glam Hub, how I got a head start with that is my mentor, who has really just pushed me, teaching me how to create sponsorship proposals, to reach out to companies to be able to partner so that we're able to fund the events and to execute it in the way that we'd like to execute it. So that was how we're able to get funding for that. And in terms of for my cosmetic line, it was really just savings that I've been saving from Carnival Glam Hub, from GlamCon, from being a makeup artist with Gabby Glam Co. So it's the savings from that I was able to use to fund creating my cosmetic line.
Let's talk some more after the break, please, Gabby. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our very special guest is Gabrielle Waite. She's an entrepreneur, makeup artist, and marketer. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Hello to those who have joined us since the last time we checked. Val Bullens says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm, listening and watching from the Bahamas. Welcome, Val Bullens from the Bahamas. Shanoya Linton is greeting everybody. Hi, Shanoya. Thank you very much for joining us here on Both Sides of the Story. Jacqueline Simmons, welcome. Good to have you on board as well. Shanoya Linton is greeting us in Spanish at this point now. She says, hola, buenas noches, señor, disfrutando tu programa. So she's saying, hi, good night, Mr. Malcolm, or good night, sir. She didn't put my name there. Disfrutando tu programa. Enjoying your program. Thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias, Shanoya. Thank you. Let's continue with our very special guest as we play our part in promoting. We continue to play our part in promoting entrepreneurship as we educate, enlighten, empower, and encourage entrepreneurship. Our guest is Gabrielle Waite. She's an entrepreneur, makeup artist, and marketer. She started out with her first company was Gabby Glam Company, and then she launched GlamCon, and then Carnival Glam Hub was launched in 2018. So we're learning the details of how Gabby got to where she is now, and we're anxious to hear how her forecast for her business, or should I say businesses. Thanks for staying with us, Gabby. Hello. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. So now you were uh, giving us an idea of the funding, saving. So you were always a big saver. Is that it?
Yeah, I always was. When I went to school, I studied banking and finance and marketing. So I did have some experience and knowledge in terms of knowing the importance of saving, and I always knew what my end goal was, because funny enough, Gabby Glam Co. was always short for, as you call it, Gabby Glam Company. Persons thought it meant company, but it was always short for cosmetics.
Ooh.
So, right. So that was always my end goal. And because of that, I knew that I would have to save, because I did have an idea of how much it would actually cost me to do that. So I started doing makeup professionally in 2017, and then I launched my lip glosses in 2020. However, the process of creating the lip gloss and starting to make payments and marketing behind it, that kind of started from late 2018 to late 2018, mid 2019. Late 2018. That's pretty much.
Yes.
When so I had to just be saving, continuously saving, straight up until now, basically.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier on, I'm not sure if you use the same word, mentor, or
right.
Yes. This is well, you may or may not name your mentor, because some people don't want to everybody to know. But
I don't have no problem naming my mentor.
Well, feel free.
My mentor is Mr. Kibwe McGann.
Who else? Yes. And so say something then on for some aspiring entrepreneurs listening to us now about mentorship, the value of mentorship based on your experience.
Well, from my experience, I think having a mentor is super important. It's really good to have somebody to guide you who has the experience, and will provide you with, to show you how to network and teach you a lot of skill sets that you wouldn't learn at school, because a lot of the stuff that I learned from my mentor, I was not taught in school. So I learned how to create sponsorship proposals. I learned how to network. I learned how to market and the value of marketing. Even though I studied marketing in school, it was completely different when I learned from him, and then he was able to put me in different situations where I would have to create executions for companies, create proposals. So I was more given a more hands-on experience as opposed to what I was learning in school. And I would always get advice from him, and he would always push me, even because there are times when you may doubt yourself.
Yes.
And you always need to find that person who will be able to really push you and encourage you. And that was he would always do that randomly, even when I don't ask for any help or advice. He would just send me a message or give me a quick call and say, "Hey, Gabs, I really think that you should probably try doing this." Or, "I have a thought. What do you think about this? How would you go about executing that? Do you think that's something that you should do? I think you should go ahead and try that." And his advice and his feedback means so much to me. A lot of the things I'll always run by him first to see what are his thoughts about it, if he thinks that it will make sense, because I value his opinion so much.
Yes.
And I always say I don't think I would have come this far if it wasn't for him, who was always just really just pushing me and encouraging me, because he always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Because it's so funny, because the first time I actually met him, it was when I was working for a company called UCA, and he had asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him I wanted to become a corporate girl. I wanted to become the CEO of a financial company, and he told me that's not what you want. That's not what you're going to be. And when he said that, I was very offended. I was very vexed about it, because I'm just like, I don't know you from Adams, and you telling me what I am going to be, what is not for me. And he said, no, you're not going to be the CEO. You're not going to be the CEO of a financial company. You're going to be the CEO of your own company. And I was just like, oh, well, that don't sound too bad. So he always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And for that, I'm always super grateful for that. And I feel like and that's why I also feel like it's so important for persons to seek having a mentor, for someone to just guide them. Because trust me, in this world, you really need some sort of guidance, especially in the world of business. You need someone to guide you, to let you know, just to get advice, and to let you know if you're doing the right thing, if you're making the right decision, that type of thing. So I would definitely encourage anyone to seek a mentor.
Good. Let's now help you to sell some makeup and lip glosses. Right. So for those listening to us now who want to know if, well, I don't know anything about makeup, obviously, but for those who are listening and they know about makeup and they want to have an idea of what you have to offer and the different, I don't know, shades, etc. This is your opportunity to sell your brand. So please go ahead and let's talk about the makeup line first.
All right, no problem. So you can find my cosmetic line. So my cosmetic line is called the Sela Lip Collection. You can find it on Gabby Glam Co, which is the Instagram page. It's also available on our website, is Gabby Glam Cosmetics. You can also purchase the glosses physically at Fontana Pharmacy Waterloo, Mirror, which is in Halfway Tree, Fashion 911. You can also get it at Bridget's Boutique, Carrie Man Woman Home, and Sunny Island Supplies in Negril. So we do deliver island-wide, as well as we do international shipping as well. So if it is that you're not from Jamaica, you can always go on our website, Gabby Glam Cosmetics, and you can make an order there. And these glosses are cruelty-free and they're vegan, and we have 3 shades. So the name of the collection, as I said, is called the Sela Lip Collection, and the shades are Faith, Celeste, and Blessed. These glosses are really for the everyday on-the-go woman. They're very subtle and they have soft pigmentation. So it's perfect for the everyday wear. It's perfect for, a bride. If it's that you're getting married soon, that's the perfect lip gloss for you. It's very soft. It's very moisturizing. And as I said, it's vegan and it's cruelty-free.
Now, help me with that term, because, again, I don't know anything about these things. When you say cruelty-free, what's that?
Okay, so when we say that product is cruelty-free, we're basically saying that we are not harming the animals. So we're not using them to test. Because a lot of cosmetic lines actually use animals and they test on them. So we're not doing anything like that. We're not harming our animals any at all. Yes. And everything is vegan, which we're meaning that it's plant-based. So it's still healthy and it's great for you. So yeah.
I see. And in all of this, is it fair to say that you have your hands full with all of this, the business on the business side, in terms of selling the cosmetics and the lip glosses, or the makeup and the lip gloss? Do you still have time to do assignments for makeup, for maybe a wedding, for example, or your mom's?
Right. So I do offer so I'm still a makeup artist. I do weddings, corporate headshots. I do makeup. I more specialize in soft glam. So if it's a case where, your birthday's coming up, you have a wedding coming up, or, you just need to do a corporate photo shoot, because, everything is digital now. So a lot of times you need to submit a professional headshot, or you're going to be going on an important Zoom call and you want your makeup professionally done. You can always contact me. Our Instagram handle is Gabby Glam Co. So you can reach out and you can book there. We also have one-on-one classes. So if it's a case where, outside to open up July 1. So if it's a case where, you want to figure out how to get yourself glammed for outside, then you can give us a call and we'll do one-on-one classes with you. So you can just get ready to go outside, and you can also, and the one-on-one classes comes with a complimentary lip gloss as well.
I have to ask you, in this time of COVID-19, what kind of impact has it had on your business?
All right. Well, so there were a lot of hiccups along the way, both for the cosmetic line and as a makeup artist. When COVID had just hit, there were a lot of weddings that were being canceled or postponed because of the reduction in terms of the quantity, the amount of persons that you can have at your weddings. And obviously, outside was pretty much closed, so persons weren't going anywhere. So the amount of persons that were requesting makeup services was very low compared to what it usually was. However, at the latter part of 2020 into 2021, it has picked up. So persons are now doing weddings again. So I still have quite a few weddings. Persons are now making requests for professional headshots. So now we're doing a lot of corporate glam for those who are starting to do, either Zoom calls or, as I said, professional headshots. And in terms of for the cosmetic line, it was very tricky because there was a lot of delay. As I said, I wasn't able to travel to go and to view the manufacturing companies myself. So it was basically emailing them and then having them wait to ship it down. And then for them to ship it down, it would take like around 3 weeks until I get the product. And then I have to be sampling and then going back and forth. So it took a long time. And then even when the glosses were ready and it was time for them to be on sale, I was very skeptical about it because I said, boy, everybody's wearing masks. Like, who is going to really buy the product? But
Hold on. I want to hear more of that. One moment, please. One moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Win big this summer. Enter the Gleaner Star Luxurious Escape Competition. Win the grand prize of 2 weekends for two at an all-inclusive hotel plus $25,000 in groceries, weekly cash prizes, and more. Buy a printed copy of the Gleaner Star. Enter the serial number at the front page by texting 876-322-7967 or online at gleanerluxury.com. Competition runs from June 6 to July 10, 2021. See the Gleaner and the Star for details. Your luxurious escape awaits.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:02. 现在几点了？4点02分. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with Jamaica's own entrepreneur, makeup artist, and marketer, Gabrielle Waite of Gabby Glam Cosmetics, Gabby Glam Co., that is. and she has been giving us some insights into her operations, a bit of the backstory in terms of what sparked her interest in this field, and the importance of having a mentor and the support from her family as well, and doing business with manufacturers in China, etc., etc., etc. So, at the going to the break, you mentioned the masks and makeup, and masks don't go with makeup, and makeup with mask. So you were saying you were wondering what would have happened with the. Just pick up on that point for us, please.
Yeah, I was very curious in terms of how the sales would have gone because at first, while I was creating the glosses, okay, COVID happened. All right, no problem. I said, okay, people are still, doing their makeup, wearing glosses, and then eventually we had to start wearing masks. And I'm just like, okay, well, if we're wearing masks, who's gonna be wearing lip gloss now? And I did pray about it, and I cussed God. I was like, God, why you did this to me? This don't make no sense. And prayed about it, and God said, don't worry, man. January, when you launch it, all 300 glosses that you start off with are going to be sold out within 3 weeks. And I said, all right. And I kid you not, we launched it January 6th, and within 3 weeks, they were done.
Whoa.
They were,
so
yeah,
at which point you would have sent up praises then, having sent up some curses before, in a matter of speaking.
I was very shocked. I was very thankful about it, but it's also because I have such a great support system.
Yes.
So I think that also had a lot to do with it. So a lot of persons were just buying, and I was very, very grateful and appreciative of it. And we weren't able to launch it in Fontana until February because we didn't have any products to give them in January when we were launching.
Oh.
Because once we announced that it was here and I had put it on the website, persons were ordering, and I didn't have anything to give to Fontana.
I see. Well, it seems, I hope at some point you're going to make the time to write a book, get a ghost writer perhaps to do the writing if you're too busy, because there's a there's a lot to be learned from your experience.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it sounds like you're not there yet. You're not at the book stage yet. That's okay. That's fine.
Boy, I feel like I have so much more to offer, but that's definitely something I'll definitely consider.
Yes. Well, as we get ready to wrap, we want to ensure that our listeners, especially those who are big on makeup and lip gloss and so on, just making sure that you accentuate the beauty that you already enjoy. What we want them to know where and the details, social media, etc. We know you gave us the information earlier on, but for emphasis,
right, no problem.
we want to make sure that they get the information, because if you don't give out that information, then my phone is going to be ringing off the hook all hours because everybody has my number.
Problem.
So
all
please,
right,
go ahead.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Gabby Glam Co. That's GABBYGLAMCO. That is the business page. And that is where you can also find the cosmetic line for Carnival Glam Hub. You can follow Carnival Glam Hub on Instagram and GlamCon JA on Instagram. And my personal Instagram is Gabby Glam. And Glamaholic in Portmore, Sunny Island in Negril. And yeah,
that's it.
And then you can also go on the website for international audience who would like to purchase. Now, if it's a case where it's someone's birthday coming up and you want to give them a nice gift, you can go on our website and purchase the collection on GabbyGlamCosmetics.com.
Easy to remember. GabbyGlamCosmetics.com.
Right.
Well, it's certainly been a pleasure. We could talk to you all afternoon. Your energy is quite infectious.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. This is what we love to do. We take great pleasure in celebrating Jamaican entrepreneurship because we know when the entrepreneurs of Jamaica do well, Jamaica does well. The two go together. So we thank you. We salute you. We want to encourage you. Keep going. We wish you all the best. And we look forward to speaking with you again in the near future.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye. That's Gabrielle Waite, Waite. Gabrielle Waite, entrepreneur, makeup artist, and marketer. She is the founder of Gabby Glam Cosmetics. And if you need more information, go to gabbyglamcosmetics.com and just Google Gabby Glam and all the information will come up. Gabby Glam or Gabby Glam Co. And the co there, as Gabby said, is really for cosmetics as opposed to company. And we're very, very happy for her and proud of her. She has business partners. She has a mentor. That support is important. Family support as well. A lot of lessons to be learned here. Well done. As we say, the mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. And happy to have played a part just now in encouraging entrepreneurship by featuring entrepreneur Gabrielle Waite. Feel free. You have our numbers. 876-365-3346. That which is also available on WhatsApp. And if you too have a story to tell, please feel free to send us the details here on both sides of the story. You can WhatsApp us 876-365-3346, and you can call us on that number as well, 876-365-3346. The micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises are the backbone. In fact, we don't even have to go that far. The micro and small businesses are the backbone of any economy anywhere in the world. I see Raskava calling us on the text line, which doubles as the WhatsApp line. Looks like he's going to be getting some makeup for somebody. Or is he? Greetings, Raskava.
Yes, sir. Give thanks.
My mother would say, and I'm putting these words in your mouth, liberty come through carelessness.
Right.
Yes, because I'll give you another example. Last Friday, I don't know if you heard, did you hear Ricardo offering the 10 pounds of oxtail that he won to you?
No, but Ricardo knows so well me want to ask them to keep them safe before the flight. I don't want to give that to I would be going against my own belief and acceptance.
Yeah, we tried to tell him that, but he was insisting up to a point because he says, I could read the actual message. Serious business. Ricardo wasn't joking at all. And I was saying, but Ricardo, Raskava doesn't eat meat, and he was still saying, no, he thinks that you deserve it, and so on and so forth. So I wasn't sure if he was joking or if he was serious. It seemed as if he was serious. So he says, because he gave the correct number of years that the butcher was operating Greg's meat stall at Crossroads Market, which was 42 years. So I was saying, congratulations. Then he sends a message. I read it. He says, I will give it to Raskava from Ricardo Porteous in Glengorf. Then he goes, then we're saying, but no, Ricardo, he doesn't eat meat. And then he says, Raskava is an ardent listener and deserves it. And so on, until he came to the realization that, seriously, that, all right, Raskava is not going to have any use for it. So I will take it. That's what he said. So,
but Ricardo, and even you then again, because God never put people on earth and never tell them what to eat, you know. So the first libertary law in the Bible is in Genesis 1 and in verse 29, what God tells his children to eat and what the animals to eat also. So human don't have meat, they have flesh. So like the animals don't have meat, they have flesh. And when they are murdered, it becomes dead flesh. So I do eat meat, but I don't eat flesh.
I see what you mean.
Right.
Understood. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and I even have this thing where I call now, just to get a clarity for what the sister was saying about vegan.
Yes.
And what how vegan see the animal. But a vegetarian is also a one who does not hurt the animal. They don't kill the animals to use them as food or cause them no harm.
Yes.
I don't know why the word vegan would come into existence when a vegan is a one who eats plant-based food.
Right.
A vegan pick from the trees, a vegetarian pick from the trees, pluck from the earth, and leave the animals to give birth.
Yeah. I think the essential point... Sorry, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Sometimes you go to some so-called vegetarian restaurant and they serve fish. Fish does not grow on tree, so how that becomes a vegetable meal. Because the word vegetarian then come from the word vegetable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And another derivative is vegan again, which comes from the word vegetables also.
Yes.
So I cannot see how there should be some law against it. If you're a vegetarian restaurant, that's what you should serve, vegetables and fruits.
Mm-hmm.
But no thing that have eyes staring at you from your plate.
Hold on.
And nothing that can get pregnant.
Hold on. We need a break. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Your taxes hold the key.
Nobody come in line. Pay your taxes online.
So many options. You choose. Pay online at jamaicatax.gov.jm, TAJ mobile app, direct funds transfer, and NCB online banking.
It's safe, convenient, and secure.
Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在几点了？4点16分. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day at school today. Well, put another way, some of you would have gone out physically, but for the others, trust that you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Yes, Raskava, you were telling us about the things with eyes that they put in front of you in a shift around.
Right, with some pitiful eyes and say, oh my gosh, it's just a pity that you did not want me for food, otherwise I would probably be alive.
Uh-oh.
And why should your food get pregnant and in that time you cannot eat it? And you have to be running down your food to catch it, and if you don't catch it, you're hungry. You know, but life, everything that have breath should give praise. You ever listen to the canaries or the nightingale?
I not close. I do a lot of bird watching for sure, but I'm still learning. I don't know.
Well,
I can't distinguish.
The nightingale is also called a mockingbird, and it because it imitates the birds. The only birds that it does not imitate are the ones that have a craw. And you know the birds that have craw? The chicken have a craw.
Mm-hmm.
So the birds that come from the dove family, the bald-plate, the pea-dove, the ground dove, the white belly, the partridge, the mountain witch, and all those birds that carries a craw. Those are the only birds that the nightingale does not imitate. But all the other birds, you hear the nightingale out there, you think is a beanie quit, you think is a jumpy, you think is another bird. All the John Chewy, they sound like the John Chewy. So the nightingale, when he sings in the morning, man, it is so beautiful. And the canary. So those things just provide joy in people's lives who never had joy. They might have Jennifer, but they give them additional joy. Just to be happy.
Yes.
And yet people kill them in a virgin. They have a thing named shooting match. Bird shooting season.
Yeah.
Just for gaming. And that thing terrorized children who live near that site that they give them permission to go and shoot, right over Woodley there. So.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of children living nearby. They don't know whether or not it's the bird hunters are over there or is the ones who shouldn't be shooting, They are just traumatized by just hearing the shots being fired. And government still legalize those things. And I said, they're going to look birds for hunt for them Sunday dinner, They mostly come Sunday morning. And that shotgun with sometime at the scatter shot, it's all over the bird, and that will poison the bird when those lead get into them and that copper.
But they still eat the meat anyway, don't they?
I am not sure what they do with it because they could them not so paparazzi. I go look them they look but they when they roast them the body them bitter. Come used to eat them as a youth, regretfully so.
Mm-hmm.
I remember me lick down one Jackson one morning and can't go yard a boast and a glad post bird when me lick down, My parents never do a thing but tell me say if you look on their wing, this is one medicine bottle. I tell me say bird I come from doctor, that's why I'm licking down. And to be more serious, it is sad, man. We must allow the animals to give praises in their own language. You may not understand what they say, but they are giving praises too.
Yes.
And we get enough fruits and peas and vegetables that we can survive off or on. Please, I'm pleading now. If someone out there, I know you eat those flesh, but sometimes we're not thinking deeply as I wasn't when I used to eat them. And when they get a goat and a goat a big pain life, then just back off the next year we are going to train a partner. But I'm kind of getting emotional when I hear about how they murder these animals, man, just for food when you don't have to. And you see when the animals that you eat, you develop the characteristics of the animal, They say when you eat fish and yam, the head just get foolish and stupid like the fish. Because two fish with the side and side, and a man throw a hook. And one fish pick up the bait and swallow it and he watch him partner gone out of the water. And the man throw back the bait and he want to go grab up his and want to go see which partner and put in partner. And then you have two of them.
Mm.
Give thanks to all the listeners and to all those who tolerate me. All those who can't tolerate me probably have good reasons to, but I say, Rastafari, I love every time.
All right, Raskava. Thanks for calling. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Rose McIntosh in London says, tuned in, Sir Dervan. Welcome, Rose McIntosh. Taki Lemqua says, very interesting overview of the history earlier on in the program. Re the Spanish and British conflict for Jamaica. So many were the encounters after... as regards the Maroons and the British in later years. However, apart from land possessions and all, it always puzzled me why the Maroons didn't speak openly their original language or languages. And also, how come they took on British names instead of maintaining their original names? There is a lot of history on the Maroons. One of the first, I can't say for sure that it was the first, but one of the first books on the Maroons was written by a member of the Dallas family, the same Dallas family whose name lives on in Dallas Castle and Dallas in Texas. But they, I think, was it Charles Dallas, the same one who also sat in the, at the time, what was the council or the House of Representatives at the time. I'm trying to remember the history, but definitely one of those Dallas brothers wrote the history of the Maroons. We should be able to pull that up. Let's see if we can bring it up just to confirm. But the point is there's a lot of information out there on the Maroons. A lot of information. Let me see if this is right. Robert Charles Dallas. He wrote. Where's the book? Here we go. This is what it looks like. The History of the Maroons. Robert Charles Dallas. The History of the Maroons. So that, the history of the Maroons from their origin to the establishment of their, where's the rest of this title? But yes, that's one of the books, one of the earliest. Again, we haven't exhausted the search for books on the Maroons and Maroonage and all these things. But we remember this one distinctly, The History of the Maroons, written by Robert Charles Dallas of the same Dallas family who bought Boer Castle and renamed it Dallas Castle, and would have been involved as well in the development of Texas and the layout, the very layout. In fact, Waco, Texas, was laid out by and most of the maps of Texas would have followed the lead of the one of the Dallas brothers. There was Robert Charles Dallas, Alexander J. Dallas, and Alexander J. Dallas was got involved in in politics or in public service in Texas, and eventually became the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States of America. And his son, George Mifflin Dallas, served as vice president under President Polk. So this is information we've shared from time to time on both sides of the story. Let's see. But Taki Lemqua will do some checks, but that's the only that's in terms of the one of the first publications on the history of the Maroons. This is an example. Robert Charles Dallas's The History of the Maroons. But as we said, we're not sure if this was the first such publication. But we'll know that you've opened that can. We will see what we can do. Hello to Oliver Masters. He says, you should see my backyard, Mr. Carver, in reference to Ras Carver. I did make a feeding basket. Buys the wild bird seeds and feed them daily. There are many different species here. My pleasure is watching them from the back door or rear window. Don't worry, beloved. You and Miss Olive are appreciated here. That's from Oliver Masters to Ras Carver. And by extension, Miss Olive. More in a moment.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. 20 feet. Just 20 feet. That can make the difference between life and death when you're operating equipment or doing construction on a GPS power line. Any closer, and you can cause severe damage or even death. Don't put your life on the line for that. For the sake of your loved ones, just follow this simple instruction and stay 20 feet away from JPS power lines when you're operating equipment or doing construction. Stay safe. Protect life and property. For assistance, call 1-888-225-5577. JPS, powering what matters.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
Win big this summer. Enter the Gleaner Star Luxurious Escape competition. Win the grand prize of 2 weekends for two at an all-inclusive hotel plus $25,000 in groceries, weekly cash prizes, and more. Buy a printed copy of the Gleaner Star. Enter the serial number at the front page by texting 876-322-7967 or online at gleanerluxury.com. Competition runs from June 6th to July 10, 2021. See the Gleaner and the Star for details. Your luxurious escape awaits.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5h moins 28. 现在7点了5点，12:08分。28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Lord, I love to hear Rastava.
I'm sure he's happy to hear you say that.
I am here listening to him this evening, and I just laughing. I just can't stop laughing. I'm telling you that I enjoy that gentleman, you see, as a Rastafari. I enjoy him on Pastor show. I enjoy him on the other show. And because in the days I just listen to the show then, to the different talk shows and stuff. And he's actually on everyone. Oh my God, Rascalba, I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. You just make me laugh. Sometimes on the Pastor show in talk, you have to laugh. Mr. Dervan?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yes, I enjoy your program.
Thank you.
I've been listening to you so long time, and I enjoy your program in the days. And you'll be doing a good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot.
You're an intelligent man. Happy belated Father's Day.
Thank you.
Yes, I will continue to listen to you and to Rastava.
Yes.
So I can't stop laughing. Rastava make me laugh. God bless you. Yes?
Blessings to you too.
Yes.
Take care. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Michael in St. Anne's Bay is taking on Rascava. Michael in St. Anne's Bay says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I am wondering if Rascava would kill a mosquito if it bites him. Radio transmission has improved from Michael in St. Anne's Bay. Michael in St. Anne's Bay, thank you for your message. I can't answer for Rascava, but we have your message. Thank you very much. Rascava can respond for himself. Is as we say in Jamaican parlance, his back is broad enough. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, the whole works. Thank you very much for being a part of the experience. Let's see if we can share just a bit more with you. How about 1946, for those of us who take electricity for granted? 1946. On this day in 1946, electricians started to wire the school, church, police station, post office, and private houses in Four Paths, Clarendon, to enable the Jamaica Public Service Company to provide them with electricity. The service was expected to be provided in another 2 months. The company was extending its services to the village, chiefly in connection with a new irrigation and domestic water supply, which was being completed at the time. So hello to the people of Four Paths in Clarendon who have electricity. On this day in 1946, electricians began to wire the school, church, police station, post office, and private houses in Four Paths, Clarendon, to enable the Jamaica Public Service Company to provide them with electricity. A couple more before. Hello to Kirk MacD, welcome. He's asking, do we have any documentation of the Jamaican Taino's Indian language or even words? Thanks. I think what I've read, and I saw this at, well, I've seen it because I've been there a few times, the civil Great House, which is essentially Civil Heritage Park, that whole area. There's a display which tells us that the Tainos spoke what was called, I think it's called Twi. Is it Twi? Twi, TWI. I think it's is it, let me just look at the pronunciation guide here to see if it's Twi, right. So they spoke a Twi, and also it's another term as well for Akan, AKAN. Or am I mixing it up there? Am I mixing it up with the Maroons? Let me just make sure. No, the Tainos spoke an Arawak language. The Maroons, because, I know why I did this. Because somebody, who was it, on YouTube was asking about the language. Why, yes, it was Taki Lemkwa on YouTube, who was asking, well, he was saying, apart from land possession and all, it always puzzled me why the Maroons don't speak openly their original language or languages, right? So their language, I believe, and you were also asking why they took on British names instead of maintaining their original names. Well, I think they're the ones who spoke Twi, the Twi language. Yes. Yeah, they're the ones who spoke the Twi language. The Tainos spoke Arawak, I believe. They're the ones who spoke an Arawak language. And because research is always taking place. And so there was a discovery or some conclusion subsequent to what we were taught in schools. We were originally introduced to the Arawaks, but essentially it's apart from they were so called because they spoke one of the languages of the Arawak, an Arawak language. And so the word Arawak refers to the Arawak or their languages. So even Arawak would have been one within the language itself. They would have spoken different languages, or if you prefer, sub languages, however you refer to it. So that is the story. So the Tainos spoke Arawak, an Arawak language, and the Maroons. And again, don't want to get in trouble now because there are different. Well, let's just say one of the languages that some of the Maroons spoke would have been Twi, Twi, Twi. Right. Hope we have managed to cover those two. Now, with respect to why they still, even when you go to the January 6th celebration in Akampong, you hear them speaking, let's just say speaking in tongues, as in speaking variations either of some form of Maroon language, but the one that we know of, that we know a little more about, would be the Twi, the Twi language, right? That one. But all this information is available from enough credible sources, whether in the form of publications, physical publications, or virtual publications. The information in this day and age, the information is out there. But obviously, those of us who search for the information or research must be discerning and mindful that information, not everything out there is accurate. One moment, please.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Sipa copper.
Sipa copper?
Yes, Sipa copper.
Sipa copper what?
Sipa copper Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags.
Sipa Copper Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipa Copper tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipa Copper today. You'll be happy you did.
Distributed by Caramed Group Limited.
The following is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise that it has resumed vaccination for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose. These persons will be contacted by the parish health department, and members of the public are asked not to visit any vaccination site unless they have been contacted by the health team. Persons should take their vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification card or letter from a justice of the peace to the vaccination site. The Ministry of Health and Wellness thanks the public for their cooperation.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Taki Lemqua says, thank you. As always, there are some things hidden as regard the history that must be unearthed for us to understand more for greater reasoning. Thanks again. Thank you for your message, Taki Lemkwa. Kirk, oh yes, we read Kirk's message already with respect to the language of the Tainos, but whether being Arawak and whether we have, well, there is information. It's a matter of locating it and bringing it to the fore. And even now, as we said, research continues, and the historians and all the other branches of researchers are still at work. They never stopped. They never stop, and they haven't stopped. So the work continues. Let's move along here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And let's see now. Couple of stories, new stories coming in. This one says police officers in Buff Bay, Portland, are trying to find out the motive behind the shooting death of a businessman last night. The victim has been identified as 43-year-old Hogan Jones, also known as Bobo, of a Nelson Street address in Buff Bay. It's reported that Jones, who operates a cook shop, was gunned down by unknown assailants shortly after 10:30 along Main Street in the area. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Sorry to hear of that tragedy. Let's see. Here's another story. A high court judge in Barbados has struck down a claim by students who were seeking judicial review of the process of the 2020 Caribbean Examinations Council CXC exams and the format for this year's exams, ruling that the regional exams body has immunity from legal action. Well, there's a breaking story. I didn't know that. So the judge, this high court judge in Barbados, is telling us, has ruled that CXC, the Caribbean Examinations Council, which administers the CSEC at Cape and I think City and Guilds, or maybe one of the others, some other exam, whichever. That's the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, enjoys immunity from legal action. The story goes on. However, the group's lead attorney has indicated that an appeal will be filed in due course. In a ruling handed down yesterday, Madam Justice Michelle Weeks said the students had no legal standing to request the judicial review since CXC is immune to any form of legal processes in Barbados, as certified by the country's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. She added that CXC qualifies as an intergovernmental organization and is not an authority of the government of Barbados. Attorney at law Liesl Weeks, who filed the action on the students' behalf, told the Nation newspaper after the ruling that the matter will go further. This is definitely one for the legal luminaries and the law students and the budding lawyers, etc. Yes, let's see. Had no idea. Learned something new again this afternoon. Also, right, so those are a couple of fresh stories which weren't published when we gave you the last update. Let's see if there are any other Well, that's sexy story is doing the rounds now on the various news apps. Judge rules CXC is immune from legal action in exam controversy. So that's going to do the rounds. If you want to know how we're doing in terms of the Jamaican dollar versus the US, it's 150.49 to 1. $150.49 Jamaican to $1 US. That information now available. And right, I think we're going to leave it there for now. But yeah, let's leave it there for now. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today. What is Kirk asking here now? How about words, sentences, phrases of the Arawak language? Maybe you could say some on your program. Well, we'll see what we can find, Kirk. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.